Good morning. Welcome to the Sports Desk live on Comcast Channel 26, also streamed on Facebook. Along with producer Alden Iwani, I'm Ed Nunez. Our special guest today is Eldorado girls basketball coach Leroy Barela. Coach, thanks so much for being on with us.
Hey, thank you for having me. I'm super excited to do this with you guys.
Well, I think we got to, we know what, I think we're a program that has done this. We want to promote boys basketball, girls basketball, tennis, golf. That's what we do. I think it's important, not just the boys, right? I played ball, but we have to get incorporated all, and we really do.
Sure.
And I had a chance to see your squad a couple of weeks ago against West Mesa. You've got a rematch against them tomorrow night.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about where you think the Eagles are. We're going to talk about also about your past basketball coaching. You're from Las Vegas. You played at Las Vegas Robertson. You just mentioned to me what a big influence Adrian Ortega was on your career, and we want to talk a little bit about that. But tell us a little bit about where a couple of weeks ago when I talked to you before the game, you said you felt the Eagles could beat anybody. You said that to me.
Sure.
You came up short against Farmington, 59-52. They're a very good team. Tell us where you think the Eagles are right now.
I think when you kind of look at where we are, you look at Max Preps, I think we're sitting on the second, or I believe it's the second toughest strength of schedule in the entire state. We brought one girl back with any kind of varsity experience. So this basically the team that we have had zero experience except for one girl. That girl spent some of the time with injuries, so we were playing varsity level games with freshmen and sophomores who had never played varsity. So to be sitting at 11-11 right now overall, and I believe 5-3 in district, I think it says a lot for our team. I think these girls come out, and when we compete, I think we're pretty good. I think we're very good. And the thing about this team is every possession is a learning experience because it's still brand new. We didn't have any type of a summer with them because of the COVID situation, and it was tough trying to get girls situated to get them in and get them going in the summer. So when we got them in basketball class in November, essentially that was the first time we had any time with each other, coach to player, player to player, player to coach. So early on, we hit some bumps in the road, but we learned and we got better. And people come up to me and they say, "Hey, this doesn't look like anything you did early on," and that's a compliment to our coaching staff. It's a compliment to our girls. It's a compliment to the school in that we're growing them. We're growing them in the sport. We're growing them socially. And so I like where we're at, but I think like every coach, I feel like there's still a little bit more out there for us.
Talk a little bit about that because not having the summer and COVID has affected a lot.
Everybody,
There's two thoughts right now. There's I know a lot of coaches around the state, and I get it. People are COVID tired. I understand that they really are. So it's not one of those things we can just say forget it, no mask. I don't think. I mean, it is real. It is a very real thing, but it's also affected athletics, academics too, right? Because you're a teacher and an educator first, then you're a coach, and that's a lot, coach. That's a lot, man. You do a lot for that community. You've done a lot for Las Vegas Robertson, wherever you've been. Talk a little bit about the effect, though, of not having that summer. And again, you said this, every possession is different. Everything is different when you're pressured, decisions you've got to make, free throws we got to make, weak side help, shoot your guns on defense. I don't know if they still do that. That's what we're time. So to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so, a lot of things that you clean up in the summer and you get ready for the year. Really, we essentially were doing that in November when we started, when the season started, and probably even in August with basketball class. So, we try to get, we feel like we're behind the 8 ball. We're trying to get this thing going. And so when we come into practice, we kind of have to do everything almost in a breakdown drill. So whatever our offense is going to be, we have to break that into a breakdown drill so that the kids start getting acclimated to what's expected of them in the offense. And then the same thing for the defense, same thing in transition. So instead of us just rolling that into the year and getting ready with all the systematic and the logistical stuff, we're putting in a lot of the beginning stuff. And it was cool because a lot of the girls needed it. And I think that built the camaraderie and that kind of built the chemistry as quickly as we could. And what it did is it really refined the consistency. So, we were very consistent in how we ran our practices. And I think that's how we were able to grow and build as quickly as we did. I honestly, and I don't want to sound arrogant or anything like that, but if we start this season right now where we're at, I think we're not 11-11. I think the win-loss record favors us more on the win side because it's a different ball club right now. Playing Farmington to a 7-point ball game. I think that, and sitting 5-3 and arguably one of the toughest districts in the state, it speaks to the commitment that these girls have made in being here and being open to bringing things down and then building them up. So it's been a combination of different things that a lot of people have to buy into.
That's the thing, right? That's the thing. The key is buy-in, right? And that's what the summer's important about. You didn't have that, and as you mentioned, people don't understand. There's a lot of people that have never coached and say we can just play our way into practice. We'll just play the games, and there's just no way you can do that
Yeah.
because there's adjustments that have to be made, different defenses, different personnel that you face, and you have to get ready, right? You have to get ready. So you really started the season on the fly, and you mentioned, you played Las Cruces, Volcano Vista, you played them, you played Farmington. You mentioned Highland. Highland is number one, and I think are ranked. They just won the district championship again. And Lonnie Neal's done, a former Eldorado assistant under Mike Houston. I think the world of Lonnie Neal. He's done a great job over there. You played La Cueva, so 10 point, 10-pointer there. Lost again to Highland 43-40, and La Cueva a little bit on the other side of that.
Yeah.
But you did beat Sandia, and you played Volcano Vista again. And here's let's look at it, Coach. Top ranked Volcano Vista, and then Farmington back to back, right? Back to back. 60. You lose to Volcano Vista, and then you play Farmington. What did your team get out of those two games? Because Volcano Vista, look what they have. They've got the personnel. They're the defending champs. They're undefeated. Lisa Villarreal's a great coach. And we mentioned Farmington. I had Coach Henderson on a couple weeks ago. Talk a little bit about what your team got out of playing two top-ranked teams.
So, through the course of the year, and I don't know how many teams they've been able to do this, but we've played the number one team in the state 3 times already. We played Volcano twice. Farmington was number one when we played them. We played the number 8 team, I think, 3 times. We played the number 10 team, I believe, 2 times. So this gets you ready. This 100% will get you ready. So we come in after games, if it's on the loss side of a game, and the message has always been, hey, we come out, we want to win, we want to compete, we want to win. Now, in doing that, sometimes the wins are not in the win column. Sometimes they're in, look at how much we grew from the game before. We're rebounding a little bit better. We're finding ourselves defensively positioned a lot better. So we know we're growing. And so for them, it's like, okay, in us growing individually and collectively as a team, we're getting better. We can call those wins. Now, right. In addition to that, they need to translate into wins in the win column, because at the end of the day, when your body of work is done and it's submitted to the state or to the NMAA and they start deciding on the at-larges, they want to see, who did you beat? Who have you competed against? Your straight to the schedule, I'm sure it makes a difference, but at the end of the day, did you win or did you lose? So I think that where we are right now in the schedule that we face, it's made us better. I think we're postseason ready because we've been tested. That we had a 3-game stretch that you mentioned where we went Volcano number 1, we went Farmington number 2, and actually before that we went number 10 Sandia. I mean, is there going to be a tougher 3-game stretch to win a state title? I don't think so. I think
you're right.
A 3-game stretch that any team's going to face this year. So we have to know that it's made us better somewhere. Maybe we didn't get the W, but it made us better somewhere, and so that we can continue to grow as a team.
Sometimes you have to take your lumps, and that you played, you coached, and sometimes we have to take those lumps, and they don't always, as you mentioned, come with wins. 130 career wins, 2 state tournaments, 4 Final Four appearances, 2 state tournament appearances in 10 years as head coach, 1 state championship appearance as an assistant coach with West Las Vegas. You also played at Robertson, and I'll tell you what, that's quite a rivalry out there, Robertson and West, right? Yes. I heard about that, man. Adrian Ortega told me about that one. You got 2 regular season district championships at Robertson. You coached there from 2014 to 18, 4 years. Final Four appearance in 2016 and 17. Win against the top 25 nationally ranked team. Talk a little bit about your time at Robertson and how it helped you become the coach that you're still becoming, because we're all growing and learning, Coach, sure. Right? So talk a little bit about your time at Robertson.
It was great. Anytime you can go back and coach at your alma mater, I think that's it's appealing to a lot of coaches. When the opportunity was presented, I was excited about it to go back home. I believe that the year before, They were okay. They were a decent team. I know our first year in, we went in, we won 10 ball games. We had 2 significant injuries on some starters that were seniors, and that kind of cost us because we had to rotate some personnel around and take girls out of position. The second year we went, and I think that first year we went in as a 14 seed in my first year there. Second year we won 14 games, went in as a 9 seed. Third year we went in with 22 wins, I believe, and went in as a 3 seed. We met up with Shiprock in a state semifinal where that was an overtime game that we got into. So that was a great game. And then the fourth year there, I think it was like 26, 27 wins. And the year before that we beat Hope Christian was a powerhouse. We had heard for 2 years that might be the greatest girls team ever assembled in the state of New Mexico. And they came into Robertson, and we had an 8th grader and some freshmen, and we ended up beating them by 3-4 points. And so we could see that we were rolling that forward. And come to Eldorado now, and we're seeing the same thing. First year here, I think it was 7 wins. Second year in a shortened season, we were 7-3. We were district champs. And then this year to be 11-11 with the strength of schedule that we had, I think we built them. I think we built them pretty good. It's just a matter of being consistent and keeping that growth going and bringing those W's in while you grow kids, socially, emotionally, and athletically. So, like you said, as an educator, we're tasked with a whole bunch of things, other than just can you make a right-hand layup, can you make a left-hand layup. So even on the basketball court, we're responsible for the whole 360 of the athlete. We got to look at the emotional side of things, the mental side of things, and the cognitive side of things. So we take pride in how we grow our programs. We do it the right way. We follow rules. We love the way we do things, and we're excited about doing them.
You can tell you've got definitely passion, and I love it. We've got about a minute left before we take a break. Tell us a little bit about the passion of Northern New Mexico basketball. I've heard this from Adrian Ortega, Richard Tripp, Mark Centini, a bunch of people from up north, man. I know a lot of, I officiated some ball up north too,
sure,
in the state tournaments. Tell us about the Northerners love their basketball. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Being the head coach over at Pecos, I spent 3 years there as head coach, and you might see it on a ticker, Pecos and Mora, and you're like, oh, 2 small schools. I would challenge any team to go play a game in Mora and see what that feels like. That you're playing in a pressure cooker. Like, they're going to press you for 32 minutes. They're gonna dog it out. So Northern New Mexico basketball, it's special. That East-West rivalry game, when they're shutting the doors in the third quarter of the C team game, a girls game, because they're sold to capacity. They have to pre-sell tickets. You're getting up to 5,000 people in the gym. Expectations are high. No matter what your team did in the past, everybody expects you to go in and win that game. As a player, I remember coming out of the locker room to start the game in warm-ups, and you run by the West section and you hear nothing but boos, and then you come by the Robertson section and you hear all the cheers, and so it's got a good flavor to it, And I've been to Mesa Vista, and I've seen them play when I scouted them when they played. I believe it was McCurdy, and so you start to see these different levels, like a Santa Rosa Texaco game. If you've never seen that, you gotta go find that, or a Texaco Clayton game. So well coached on the boys and girls side. The kids are incredible, and I find that over here in the Metro. I mean, if you want to come and get challenged as a coach, come coach in the Metro, because every night you got to bring your A game, because these guys and these gals they're exceptional coaches, and the athletes it's just the next level. So to be in this, I've always said it. If I'm a college coach, I'm in the state of New Mexico, and I'm scouting kids, because this is a hotbed for talent in basketball. It's a hotbed, and on both boys and girls side. And so, you go up north, you're gonna see.
You're gonna know about it, Coach. We're gonna take a break. When we come back, we'll talk more about this year's version. You got a very special freshman we want to ask you about after these messages on the Sports Desk.
Awesome.
Fuentes blocked in as Colby Wade has had his hands all over the ball today.
For see that pressure.
Basket, nice pass inside to Moore, scores. Beautiful pass by Jamal Bynum.
Pretty cool red shoes. Oh, bad work by the Cougars. Opens up for Renfro.
He gives a little spin there, throws it, and picking it off is Ottman, and she lays it right in there. And
the South gets right past Ludi Herrera. Look at that beautiful finish on the nice little up and under layup for Casal.
Oh, beautiful shot. Man, by Jason Lovato.
Oh, that's stolen by Brody. Brody down the left side of the lane, puts it up high, window no good, followed by Avalos, good. Biggest lead of the game for Cleveland. They lead 48-45. And
Valley with the ball, and a one-point deficit. Nice spinneroonie, scoops it up and in. Kevin Griner.
He got past him, jump stops to the lane. Great recovery block for Harrison Frank. And then the layup for Turin at the buzzer. It will count.
To Dominguez, to Murillo, dribble, Dunkaroony.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth that's real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Welcome back to the Sports Desk, live on Comcast Channel 26, also streamed on Facebook. I'm your host, Ed Nunez. Our special guest today is Eldorado Girls head coach Leroy Barela. His Eagles are 11-12, 11-11, and in district, record is 5-3. And coach, you feel like your team has a chance to still make some noise. You still feel good about where you're at.
I do. You know, when you go into the gym with a Bella Hines, you feel like anything's possible. You know, kids a special talent, 14 years old, and you're at one of the bigger schools in the state. You know, something with so much tradition and to shoulder the load the way she has. We always feel like we have a fighting chance when that girl steps on the floor with our other girls. So yeah, anything can happen on any given day, man. I think Wally proved that to us a few years ago when they went on as the 11th seed or 13th seed and won the
That's
whole
right.
thing. So,
I think people forgot about that.
Yeah.
That's right. And Coach Salata, you're talking about Rio Rancho head coach Wally Salata, has had some more talented teams than that one. And that team there, yeah, I remember that run, and Wally's a very good friend of mine as well. You know, you mentioned Bella Hines, and she averages 23.9 points per game, 3.5, 1.1 assists, 3.6 steals per game, 2.6 turnovers per game. Talk a little bit about her, because I'll have you tomorrow night. That'll be my third time, I believe, maybe fourth time. Now, I've seen different gimmick defenses designed to stop her. Manny Otero tried one of those. Everyone that, they're going to try to stop her from cutting. They tried a box in one. They tried a box in two, I believe. I thought Manny might have even had two people. They denied the pass. Yeah. They've done everything they can, and she's still going to score. You mentioned she's only 14 years old, which is more impressive, right? She's not even 15. She's 14. Talk a little bit about her, and again, you mentioned what a special talent she is.
Yeah, so and when she came into Eldorado, when she did the paperwork, whatever, for admission, and the gym we were finally able to bring kids into the gym. she came in, she worked out a little bit. I'm like, this kid's pretty good, man. She got a good attitude, whatever. And my daughter had just finished here at Eldorado, and I said, hey, I called her up and I said, hey, what are you doing tomorrow? Can you come in? And I want to see if we can work this kid out and see what it's like. And so they start playing, man. They start battling, and they're going back and forth. They're bumping, they're scoring on each other, whatever. And then so we go home, and I asked my daughter, I said, so what do you think? She said, that's the best player I've ever played against. That girl wasn't even a freshman yet. She was an 8th grader coming in her freshman year. And my daughter had played against some of the top players in the state, some of the top players in the region. And she had played against some top college players. And she's like, that's the best player I have ever played against. And so
as an 8th grader.
As an 8th grader. And so here's the thing with that kid. I believe that there's some people have that it factor. I think this kid has the it factor. And I think that it factor goes beyond basketball. I think if she played soccer, it'd be the same thing. I think if she was in band, I think it'd be the same thing. I think if it were in a spelling bee, I think it'd be the same thing. I think she walks around with the it factor, and it's part of who she is. And I think that's what separates her from some of the good basketball players. So she's fun to have around. That's a girl you could get on. Like, I've gone on that girl. I've asked her to step off the floor in practice. And she don't complain. She doesn't, she takes compliments well. She truly is everything you want in a basketball player, everything you want in an athlete, everything you want in a young person trying to find their way in their niche and what they're trying to accomplish. And it's been fun watching her grow. So you talk about the gimmick defenses. We've seen boxing 1, we've seen triangle and 2, we've seen double teams, we've seen triple teams, and she won't get frustrated. She understands the scoring might drop a little bit, but I saw a coach part come out in her where she's finding girls open now. When they double teamed her, triple teamed her, she's getting Talise Natoni helping her get looks. And Talise is at 18, 19, 20 points a game because she understands the situation where, okay, I got 2 girls on me. Let me start facilitating, because at the end of the day, she's all about let's get the W, and then we'll move on. We'll move on and we'll work in practice on whatever we need to work on. So, truly gifted athlete, and just probably even a better person than she is a basketball player.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's maturation usually you don't see from even juniors or seniors sometimes. And you saw that early on, even as an 8th grader coming in, and as a freshman. What I think one of the things I got out of what you said is she's coachable. And these days, I've heard this from more than one coach. It's different sometimes. Back in the day, right, you and I were coached one way. That was, get the job done. And there weren't a lot of compliments about it. Just get the job done, right? And these days, it's a little different. And, you can't coach everybody the same way, right? And you mentioned that, emotions. You mentioned a lot of different things about the total package about. So you have to understand what you can say to some and what you can't say, right? That's true.
Sure.
Everybody, you have to coach some people different. Some people will respond to, hey, what are you doing? We got to do this, right? They'll respond to that. Some players won't.
Yeah, and it's funny because the one thing with her is, she got a lot of major Division I colleges already looking at her. And the way I see it is I'm going to get on you at the high school level. But at the end of the day, like my job is based on my teaching. A college coach, they make a lot of money based on the basketball. So they have no problem getting on kids. Like, if you're either getting the job done or you're not, just like you said. And at the end of the day, they're going to treat it like you're going to help us win, or we're going to find somebody else. And sometimes they can get, it can get to the point where, can you be coached hard? And if you can, you're going to be fine. That kid, I will tell you right now, she can be coached hard. She can be coached kind of eased into things. She can be coached, however, because she can evolve to what the coach is asking. It's incredible. I'm telling you, I don't know how a 14, 15-year-old kid can do that. It's a very, very special talent that girl has. In addition to the basketball skill set, is her ability to be coached. It's a fun thing to be a part of. It really is.
But you mentioned the it factor, that if it was not basketball, it'd be whatever she wants to do. Let's talk a little bit about the Talise Natoni. You mentioned her. I thought Keoma Holyfield, the sophomore, I think is very raw. But sometimes she'll make some plays, and you're like, wow, there's some ability there, right? She'll get a rebound or block a shot. She doesn't not quite sure about her impact every play yet. That's what I see. Now, she doesn't understand that she could probably do that even more, right? She could do that a lot more. Simone Colley's got some. I love Ella Dion. Ella Dion's very fast and very high basketball IQ. Talk a little bit more about some of the other Eagles.
All right, so Ella Dion, unfortunately, she had some knee damage against Volcano. So right now she's rehabbing. She's going through all the procedures, seeing our trainer, seeing the doctor, checking to see where she's at. So we didn't have her against Farmington. So she's kind of like day to day. Chioma Holyfield coming in as a sophomore. She was a C-team player last year. Now she's starting varsity for us. The sky's the limit for this kid, so she's very, very raw. She don't have a lot of basketball experience. So, a lot of times a new coach coming in, you think about, I don't want to have to break back bad habits of an old coach. Well, the fortunate thing about her is I get to teach her all my bad habits. So all the things that I kind of know about basketball, playing the post in high school, we kind of break that down for her. We're teaching her about, it's almost systematic for her. You got to catch first, you got to face, then you got to shoot, and eventually it'll all become fluid, and you're just going to do it without thinking about it.
Right.
And we're watching this kid grow against Farmington. I think it was 15 points, 8 rebounds, 3-4 block shots. The girls were so excited when we came into the locker room after the game because they saw one of those wins again. It's like, okay, our post just got so much better today, and she's only a sophomore. So a Bella Hines coming in as a freshman, a Caitlin Lewis, who's also a sophomore, and Addison Art, who's also a sophomore, are coming in, and they're seeing the progress that we're talking about. They're seeing the growth. They know what this is going to eventually materialize into. So it's been good. And then to be led by 3 seniors, Trinity Whitney, who's a first year with us, but she comes out, she battles, she'll play whatever position she's asked to play. And then you got Talise Natoni and Ella Dion. Man, it's a good place to be. It's all the right pieces. We can compete now while we're still trying to prepare for the future.
You know what? You've got some good pieces there. I believe that Ella Dion will be back, you think, right? She will be back?
So right now I'm a glass half full kind of guy. So
okay.
I'm hoping that she comes back.
Yeah, she's I think a crucial part. Then some things happen. Other people have to step up. That's the way it goes. I get it. Yeah. But she's a very, very good guard. Smart, speed, end-to-end speed. So I hope she comes back too. Got about a minute or so left, but I did want to ask you this to give us an update on your daughter, Cece.
Oh, wonderful. So she's they actually start a conference tournament. They were conference champs out in the NAC, in the North Atlantic Conference. She's a starter for him. She's one of the leading scorers, if not the leading scorer. She's been freshman of the week multiple times there. So she is, so I talk to my kids all the time. Are you surviving or are you thriving? You can do whatever you're supposed to do and survive and get it done, or are you thriving? Are you getting better? And I think she's thriving out there. She plays for a coach who's very energetic. If I'm not mistaken, he played for Roy Calipari and for John Calipari, and he coached with him a little bit. So he brings a little bit of that flavor to that program. And I think she's adapted really well. She's living out on a peninsula on the East Coast, and she's surrounded by the Atlantic Ocean. And so
awesome.
She's doing good. She's in her first year of school. She's working her way to being a doctor. So she's got her first year, close to her first year in. And as a dad, you just want the best for your kids, right? You just want them to excel in whatever they're doing. And we get to see that in her. Now, I'm not going to lie. She had some rough stops there early on, and we had to fly her home and get her some of that green chili and pozole, and then, then get her back. But it was always like, home is always going to be home. But you got to go make your way now. You got to make your way because you got to make a home for your family eventually. So, I coached her a certain type of way, and I got criticized a lot, especially up north, on how I coached her. But I always knew that, that she could take it, and there was going to be something special at the end of what she was trying to do. And I think she's in the middle of seeing that right now. We had a conversation. I said, man, sometimes I think back and I think, would I have done it a little bit different? Would I have been a little easier? And she said, no, you would have cheated me had you done it easier. You taught me how to play this game. You taught me how to respect it, and you taught me how to respect opponents. So, she's loving it, man. She's absolutely loving it.
Thanks for the update. And I'll tell you what, that's very key, what you said, respect for the game. You got to respect the game because sometimes the breaks go for you and sometimes they don't. They're the breaks of the game, unfortunately, right? You already know that. I know that. Coach Leroy Barela, Eldorado girls basketball coach. You've got West Mesa tomorrow night. I'll be there for the broadcast. We wish you the best of luck, and thank you for joining us this morning on the Sports Desk.
I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for everything you guys do. I know you're calling a lot of games. You guys are pulled left and right, and showing our student athletes as much as you can. We as coaches, we 100% appreciate that.
Thank you, Coach. For
Yes, sir.
producer Aldi Niwani, I'm Ed Nunez. We'll see you next week on the Sports Desk.